Episode 251 of Global from Asia.
Welcome to the Global from Asia podcast, where the daunting process of running an international business is broken down into straight-up, actionable advice. And now, your host, Michael Michelini.
Okay, everybody, I'm in the airport, as you might tell. Air Asia flights are always the most fun. Lots of people enjoyed my on-the-go intros in the buses and vans, so today let's try it from an airport. I won't do an interview, at least I don't think I'm crazy enough to do an interview at the airport. I actually did interview a guest while he was at the airport due to his flight delay. But, let's see if this loud intercom pops up again while I do our intro and outro for Global from Asia episode 251. It's great. I mean, things have been rocking and rolling. I really am bummed I missed FBA for you. It's a meetup. I saw some great photos. I'll put a couple. Chris Davey, he's been a guest a couple times on the show. He's been doing a great job. And Juju or Cindy also. Not sure if she listens to podcasts or not, but she does great. I'll put a clip in he sent me a photo. Thanks also, Global from Asia and FBA for you always try to help each other out. So that's awesome. Also, the guest today, Danny McMillan from Seller Sessions, I believe I met through Chris. Both are from the UK and European sellers. Well, they sell globally, but that's the world we live in, people all around the world. I was literally just talking to somebody, a couple married with kids like me, Korean wife, German husband living in Thailand. That's just the life we live in. But I guess I'm not much different. Chinese wife, American guy, kids in Thailand. So I'm actually at the airport since you're hearing this intercom. I am going Bangkok back to Chiang Mai. Some things in the works. Some factories and business stuff happening down in the south of Thailand that I will update you all about soon. But this week's show, I'm going to jump into it. We'll also do the blah, blah, blah. I know Russell Smith enjoyed that in our GFA VIP group, was saying he really enjoys the blah, blah, blah. Maybe we'll get the kids there. They're watching airplanes right now. But this week's show is Danny McMillan. Like I just mentioned, Seller Sessions podcast. Definitely recommend checking that out if you haven't. Definitely one of the top e-commerce and Amazon podcasts out there. He really gives amazing content. This guy knows his stuff. And today we're talking about some new things happening with people that have registered brands. I was able to access it after he helped me out getting in. You have to have brand registry for Amazon to get some extra data, and we talked today about some of that. And also, he's got an amazing event coming up in about a month from today. So if you're in London or can make it out to the UK, definitely recommend. It's going to be a monumental event, first time ever. The first events are always the coolest because that's where people are making things happen and finding the right fit. And I'll also talk some blah 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 about how I used the tool, as well as just branding in general and brands, and what I think is some of the trends and importances of it. So without further ado, let's tune into Danny McMillan. Are you looking at brand registry and other benefits of being an actual brand? This is the future of e-commerce and business in general, so make sure you get your trademark set up correctly. Our partners at trademarks247.com or 247.com can help you get set up online, fast, easy, and the right way. Get the info you need as well as the services at www.trademarks247.com. Okay, thank you everybody tuning into the Global from Asia show. We are here and bringing back one of my more popular guests, Danny McMillan from Seller Sessions out in the UK. Thanks for coming on today, Danny.
Thanks for having me.
Sure, it's always a pleasure. And you've been at some of our summits, and you're doing quite a bit there. You have your own amazing show that's growing, Seller Sessions podcast, and we'll talk a little bit more about some of your live event that you're doing and amazing stuff. For those that don't know you, do you want to give a little bit of more intro?
Yeah, sure. My name's McMillan. I'm an Amazon seller. I also host the podcast Seller Sessions. We have an event which we started this year called Seller Sessions Live. I also do a bit of content in the UK for Amazon. I've just done a recent pilot webinar with them. And we have an agency called Databril, and Databril looks after 7 and 8 figure sellers. We take care of all their PPC, etc. And it's a technology-based company. So yeah, that's pretty much me.
Great. Yeah, that's great. Making things happen. So today, there's obviously so much we could talk about, but I think an interesting topic we prepared was brand analytics. That's somewhat recently just came out.
Exactly.
Yeah, do you want to share a little bit for those that might have not even heard of it?
Yeah, I mean, brand analytics won't be there for everyone. Your requirements are you're going to need brand registry wherever you are. It started off in the US and it's been rolled out. You can now get it in the UK and get EU data on it. So obviously with brand registry 2.0, now you need to get a trademark. So you need to double check this, but there are ways and means, or it used to be this way up to recently, whereby as long as you had a trademark in a select set of territories, like, in the EU, like UK or Germany, for instance, or the US, that was good enough to utilize that for your brand registry in that territory. Obviously, that trademark doesn't cover you for that other country. So if you've got a US trademark, it doesn't cover your trademark for the UK or in the EU, if that makes sense. But it was up to recently, you need to just raise a ticket for Seller Central. But you if you can, or you don't have a trademark, one of the advantages that you can do is that we submitted our own trademark in the UK. It took 8 weeks and spent £220, whereas in the US it's a lot more expensive and it can take up to 8 months to get. And then obviously you've got to deal with appeals and rejections and stuff like that if anyone opposes the mark. But yes, it's down to having brand registry. So when you log into your Seller Central account, you should be able to see that under just trying to think of the tabs. If you go to, the reports tabs, as you scroll down, example, in the UK account, you've got payments and seller coach, and then you've got brand analytics, which is just above the business reports.
Okay. Yeah, we have to definitely check into that. Honestly, it's so complicated. I have brand registry 2.0 with our Sisitano, but then there's like a different area you gotta go.
Yeah, see, the thing what you got is Amazon seems to make it more difficult in terms of its presentation of it, because people get confused, right? Because what's happening in there is you're logging in and you've got keywords. Okay, so when you're logging in and you're utilizing the system, what we're used to using is keyword tools that show search volume. What this is search frequency rank. So for instance, if you were just to log into the UK at this given time through the periods of the 7th to the 4th to the 13th to the 4th weeks of April, the search frequency as it stands at the moment, if it's up to date, will be number 1 will be wireless headphones, and then number 2 will be headphones, and then number 3 is Bluetooth headphones, and et cetera, right? This goes on, and there's thousands here. So the frequency is basically how many, what is the number 1 search term on Amazon at this moment in time in the UK is wireless headphones. And then the second most recent, highest frequency of searches is for the search term headphones. And then it's Bluetooth headphones. So effectively, the 3 most searched for items on Amazon in the UK at the moment are wireless headphones, followed by headphones, followed by Bluetooth headphones. What it doesn't give you is a search volume.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense? And I think that's where people start to get confused with it, because what they're doing is they're just seeing these rows of data. All right. Yep. So when you just got those rows of data, you're left there to interpret this yourself. Now, each of these search terms, as you'll go along, so, for instance, you've got headphones, you're going to have 2 other metrics, which again confuses people, right? One is called click share. The other one is conversion share. So click share is just the percentage of the total clicks that ASIN received for all ASINs, not the click-through rate of the ASIN, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got conversion share. This doesn't represent the conversions of sales for the given search term, but it's the percentage of total sales for each of those ASINs received for that keyword. So it's basically working on a percentage basis. It's not like it's the totality part of it. Does it make sense? So it kind of confuses the language. Confuses. I mean, I may be confused. Someone might pick me up and go, no, it's wrong. But it isn't. That's the problem with it. It's not user friendly in the sense of when you look at it, you're going, wow, okay, viewing 215,660 rows. Where the hell do I start with it, you know?
True.
But
Yeah,
it's very, very powerful.
Yeah, people got excited when it first came out. Some people could see it, some people couldn't see it. And so what would you suggest people use this for? I mean, I think most people think about volume, right? Like, obviously, this easy search volume, like demand. But what would be some use cases for people?
Well, what you do is you filter through the data. So one of the things I've found it kind of useful for is not for product research, but discovery. Like you've got the search tools, you type in the search term, okay? And then you go and discover, and then you look at your Chrome plugin or whatever device you're using, and then you'll look at it and it's giving you an array of options in terms of the sales volume, and it'll show little charts of sales history and stuff like that. Yeah, so you've got your jungle scouts, your helium 10s and all those kind of things, which are great, right? You're never going to replace those tools. They're always going to be in play. But with something like this, what you could do is you could do a search term. An example, if I type in the word oil, right, and I just hit search, this is giving me 2005 rows. Now, it's going to give me various different options, essential oils. It's going to give me bio oil, hemp oil, tea tree oil, essential oil diffuser. So what I'm looking at now is, well, I'm just typing in the word oil, but it's giving me different ideas to go, well, actually, jojoba oil is the frequency of the search is 2,355 on Amazon. So so basically that search term there, out of all the products on Amazon, that sits in 2,355th place for that search term. Does that make sense? So I might actually click on that and go through. And I know it's going to be a competitive industry, but just to give an example, once that clicks through onto the landing page, then I can start introducing my product research tools, and then I can get an idea of the search volume, the competition, etc. Does that make sense? So what you're doing there is that it's a random way to start the process off for product research, because you may not think of any of these search terms. Like if I carry on scrolling down, I don't know what cuticle oils is. I'm doing this on the fly, yeah. So if I click through and see what cuticle oils are. Okay, they seem some sort of protection now oil. Okay. But these are all pretty low price. So I'd skip that, and then I'll go back in and I'll keep scrolling down. Obviously, you've got omega fish oil. That's going to be a bit out of control. Cod liver oil. Neem oil. I have no idea what neem oil is. Yep. So I can go and have a look at that and say, okay, price points are these, $12.99, $13.40, $25.90. And then there's some lower price. Like the bestseller is $9.75. So and then the second one is $5.99. So the pricing is trashing the market there. So you may skip that one, or you might find an opportunity. Yeah. Then you've got bio oil gel. Now we're moving further back into the 7,000s. Now, if I then quickly run one of my tools on this to see what the sales are like. Yeah, so the top performing ones on this one, for instance, is 2,037 in the UK. Then the second to that is, 1,125. And then there's a bit of a drop off, right? So this might be coming down to a branding thing and dominance into the market there. And then you can look at the revenue, you can look at the BSR, you can look at the reviews and stuff. So it's just a free tool that happens to be within inside of your Amazon account that you can activate, right? Now, another thing where it can start to become interesting is if I change the range now, right? So let's just say I want to look at seasonality products. It depends if Amazon provides the data. I'm going to see how far I can go back here. But let's say I want to go, well, what's been sold in October? Now, you associate October normally with like Halloween and stuff, don't you?
Yeah, exactly.
So let me have a look. I'm going to click on that period and apply and see if it gives me any data for that period. So I'm just waiting for this to load at the moment. Right, so now what I'm looking at from that period, from the 21st of the 10th, just leading up to the 27th of the 10th, I can see here we've got Halloween costumes for women is the second most searched. And then Halloween costumes for men is the fifth most searched. And then Halloween costumes for kids is the ninth most searched in that period. Mm-hmm. So it gives you an idea. It's that some people might just go after Halloween products. You know, they might say, do cups and T-shirts, when basically the biggest opportunity there, what people are searching for, showed by Amazon data, is that they're using Halloween costumes for kids, Halloween costumes for men, and Halloween costumes for women. These are the kind of products, if you're going to do in that window, why not you try and rank for those, get in there early, and then focus on sourcing those kind of products. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. So you're, like you said, it's kind of like discovery. It's like getting suggestions and ideas.
It's getting suggestions
without having to have the input maybe from the keyword first. It's more like seeing the environments kind of.
Exactly. So you can use it, date periods, product research. You can download and schedule. You can look at all different aspects of this data. It's down to creativity how you're going to use it. You might download that data, which you can, and then just drop it into a pivot table and have a play around that way, just getting different ideas of how you can utilize the data. Again, at the end of the day, it's Amazon's data and it's free, and hopefully it'll start to build on that. Obviously, Amazon are going to keep rolling out different elements here that's going to give you more benefits. I think in the US, they're doing location and spend and stuff like that, so they're providing more and more data as time goes by. But it's definitely, for me, a powerful tool, definitely on the product research, to get ideas where you might not want to go for top-end products that are in high velocity. You might be looking to sneak into those different markets. Now, another thing that you can do is the search time. So if we search for something like neck pillows, for instance, don't do that, product kids, in the UK, then what we'll do is it'll give you some variants on those search terms. Now, you can then take those and then you can dump them into a PPC campaign, or you can dump them into a campaign and look what the suggested bids are as well. And when there shows that there's suggested bids in there, there's some sort of volume on Amazon as well. So it just gives you a bit of an indicator. It only gives you only so much amount of keywords, like 3, maybe 4. So set the world alight, but it's another way of getting free search terms. So we've got here neck pillows, which is 41,705. Travel neck pillows for airplanes is 71,331, and then neck pillows for traveling is, the frequency on that is 7,413. Now 41's a bit far back, and so is 71, but that might be, if someone's selling neck pillows for the first time, there might be a good option there on that search term that could be in terms of relevance, and it might give them some micro conversions over a period of time outside of the main search terms.
Okay, got it. And I don't know about other listeners, but when I hear brand analytics, to me it seems like, I guess is there any relevance to the name? I think of it's kind of like, wouldn't it be something like monitoring or data about your brand name, your keywords around what you're selling? Is there anything like that in this, or?
Yeah, that's a good question. What you got to ask is, why did they give us this data in the first place, if we start there? Now, there's a lot of word about antitrust going on at the moment in and around Amazon, because they're selling their own products on the platform, etc. And there's this issue in, I think it was in India, where Amazon are banned from selling their own products out there because they didn't want it to be some kind of a monopoly on their platform. And just shortly after that, brand analytics appeared. Now, you could try and put both of those together or not. Now, the other side of brand analytics, why it's probably saying that as well, is because when it gives you a search term, it gives you 3 of the top ASINs for that search term. Then you can click through and look at those brands to see how they're performing and get some ideas from those as well. Another part of the discovery, this is just working off the top of my head here, is that if you find stuff that are further down, that are more niched, for instance, obviously niches are going to work a bit better in the US because it's more spread out. But you go a niche down and you click through to them top 3 ASINs and you take a look at them, you might find that they're poorly optimized with rubbish images, and that gives you another indicator of going after that area as well, because you can add value in terms of optimizing your listing properly.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense. So yeah, I mean, of course, it's been, people have been confused. It just came out. Yeah, I feel like it came out of nowhere. Nobody was really expecting it, and then
it's interesting. That's a lot of data that Amazon's spilling and they're adding to it. But maybe as well is that Amazon are trying to attract the bigger brands as well. Yeah.
True.
So they've got the AMG, and there's programs in place where minimum spend, I think in the US it started out about $30K a month for their off-platform and retargeting platforms as well. So it might be that the brand analytics thing is if they're trying to keep up with, say, Facebook, or they're trying to keep up with Google, who give you a lot more metrics to implement into your campaigns. So maybe they're doing it from that point of view as well, saying, hey, look, here are some metrics, see what these people are doing it, and then utilize it for yourself on your own campaigns. Whereas they weren't given this kind of data up in the past.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to go off on too much of a tangent, but I mean, I've seen some of your posts on LinkedIn and others about, Amazon getting kind of scary with their ads right inside of your listings. So, of
that's
course,
right. So you had
on the buy button. Yeah, it's crazy almost. Yeah.
Yeah. So what they've done, there was a massive post that went semi-viral where Amazon, once you've clicked, like someone's clicked on your ad, as they've gone through and landed on your product page, and for an Amazon product at half the price, there's a gift that's floating around. So basically, you may have paid, as an example, $3 for that click. Now, people are going to lose out because they're going to scroll and there's all of the other opportunities as you scroll down the page. Under the buy box, you've got the AMS style ads and the branded ads. As you scroll down, then you've got frequently bought together, and you've got what else? You've got, you remember? And what else is there? There's the sponsored ads. I mean,
there's
literally
ads everywhere.
Yeah, it's just littered. As it gets past your image and title and down into the buy box area, that once they scroll past there, you may lose them as a customer. So Amazon stepped up even further by adding a pop-up, literally. So as you get through to the page, a pop-up, like I think this was for a supplement, so it was $19.99, and then save up to 50% or whatever it was, and then Amazon was doing theirs at a cheaper price. Yeah. So that's to me, that's a bit naughty. I've not seen that in advertising. Like that's cloaking, kind of falling into those kind of realms where it's a bit naughty, a bit bait and switch for the advertiser. It benefits the customer, but it's not a good way to build a relationship with an advertiser by utilizing those techniques when someone's paid for the click.
It's true. I mean, well, I brought that up because we're saying why they brought this brand analytics tool, but at the same time they're popping this kind of stuff out at the same time too. So they're trying to bring everybody onto the, obviously what is it, over 50% of the Google, it's already past Google for a product search as a first, destination. So I mean, brands have to be here, but they're giving us some data, but then they're putting some scary stuff like that in there as well.
But I think, but that no one's noticed it for a while. So I think maybe Amazon's always testing. So they may have tested that, got caught with it, and then it's gone viral and then pulled back because public opinion was like, no, this doesn't fly,
Yeah, true.
So I haven't seen it for about a month or so. So I'm assuming that was a test and it's gone again.
So I think maybe getting towards the end here, I mean, I think what I'm thinking is just you have to get brand registry, right? I mean, as a seller,
Yeah.
this is just another reason, you got to get file your trademark, whether it's, UK, which is interesting for me today. I learned about maybe a little bit faster than the US and, or anywhere, I think if, to just survive the long game in Amazon, probably anywhere, whether it's even a product business, service business, is to build a brand. But I think this is another reason on there. It seems that's the trend, right?
Yeah. Without
So,
doubt.
so for sure, I mean, people should get this, maybe not just for the data, but also for more benefits. I mean, there's obviously, there's a storefront. I don't know if you think that's worth it, but
Yeah, brand
EBC.
registry is great because it gives you EBC, enhanced brand content. You get your store pages. You've got better usage of the branded ads. You've got all of these extras in there. People misconstrued thinking that brand registry is basically the way to lock your listing away from other sellers, which isn't true. There's not many people that gets gated listings and they're under special circumstances, but people get confused by that. Registry protects you from a lot of things, but it doesn't protect from people coming onto your listing. One of the other things that you should do with all your listings, going back to the hijacking thing, is that when people share listings and like if there are spare bullet points and stuff, people start to complete those and it gets confusing with the catalog contributions. So you should always make sure that every field on your listing where possible is to be completed. And then people that do jump on your listings are not thinking, oh, I'll add some more extra images here, I'll add 2 bullet points and then put in like a description or whatever. So always make sure that you pre-populated your listings as thoroughly as possible.
Makes sense. Definitely good input. And then the product video, I think, is still only for
US
brand.
at the moment, I think.
Yeah, and brand registry, I think too, maybe. But I mean, I've got videos on my listings. I'm even in the video, one of them. But yeah, I mean, I guess just generally, I think people, even if they're not so attracted, even if today's interview, maybe they're like, brand analytics. But I think just in general, file your brand registry. Build your brand. I think that's the biggest takeaway, and hopefully can also benefit from this tool.
Yeah, and I think you'll probably find a lot of your listeners that the ones that are actually selling on Amazon, probably I'd say half, if not more, are in brand registry. People just go for it now, don't they? They just go, right, let's go and get a trademark, get that, because it just opens up the playing field for the various tools. So it all becomes part and parcel of it. So if that's the case, then all they've got to do is go under that menu and pull up brand analytics and have a play with it.
Definitely. So I'd love to hear people checking it out. And so for you, I know we've been talking quite a bit the last couple of weeks. I'm excited to hear about your first live event, in-person event. I know those are quite a big undertaking. So Seller Sessions Live is a couple months away. I'll get the show out pretty soon. And in June 1st, right at the beginning, 1st in London.
Saturday 1st of June. Yeah.
And what maybe some listeners could come out. It's a full day event, am I right? And
yeah, that's it. I can give you a bit of background on it.
Sure, please.
Yeah, so basically, there are events that go on in the UK, but we wanted to do something a little bit more, a bit different. For us, this isn't about making money, right? So for us, it's about setting and raising the bar in the UK for better education for sellers. Like I interviewed some guys the other day in China. They had 40 events in 2 months. Exactly. That's incredible,
Yeah, it's true.
And for us, if it was about the money, then our ticket prices would be a lot higher, but they're not. So what we're trying to do is bring in the world's best talent and putting them all under one roof. So we're trying to do the same with the, curate on the podcast, do my best to ask, the right questions, but now we've expanded that into like a live format with keynotes. In the UK, as I said, the bar's not super high. So for instance, what people are charging for one international speaker to come into town is what we're charging, and we've got 6. Yeah. So the way I look at it is that in the US market, they're very much spoiled. Every month there's lots of speakers, lots of events in lots of different cities. So eventually what we want to try and do here in the UK is we want to be spoilt for choice. But first we have to raise the bar, So what we're trying to do is help with the building and the sustainable educational culture here in the UK.
Nice.
So basically what we're doing is putting our money where our mouth is, but in order to do that, you've got to build the infrastructure, right?
Sure.
So we've been with seller sessions for the last couple of years. We've been putting out high-end content for Amazon sellers. So everyone's in reach of this content, and we've been doing it for free, right? We feel we do a lot more than most for the UK in terms of the Amazon FBA community. And basically, we're putting in the work for the long game for this. So we speak directly with Amazon to build deeper trust to the community. We just done a webinar for them last month, which was a pilot. They don't normally invite people external of Amazon to come on and do stuff. So we're working on some new webinar content for them for their audience. And we're also working with the barcode company GS1 for initiatives for their amnesty program. We also do a blog for them for their 36,000 brand members in the UK, educating them on Amazon who are not on Amazon. So basically what it comes down to is like we're trying to help with the culture here, build out the community, and of course the infrastructure. So in terms of like the lineup for the day, we've got Ivan Demirov. So Ivan, he's often copied without attribution. He's one of the most advanced guys in our industry, always breaking new ground.
Okay.
We've got Anthony Lee, who he appeared at your events when we come over last year. He's done
Anthony's
a couple of
great.
things.
Yeah.
And you know how smart he is. He's like way ahead of the curve.
Yeah, he's a machine. He's got
he's an absolute machine.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so he's also very open in sharing what he does on his blogs, etc. And then we've got Lee Van Hirschkorn. He spends a lot of time going to Seattle. He gives them feedback on their programs. Again, very open with sharing his findings. Great all-round technical marketer. And then we've got Paul Harvey. I'm not sure if you met Paul. Not everyone's heard of him yet, but he's very technically gifted and good at breaking down complex information.
Great.
So he's very early on the messenger bot thing, and he built software to get around the limitations of the product on the market. Obviously, I'll be speaking, and we've also got Casey Goss from Viral Launch. I think he founded that at 21, and like that was a startup, and now it's got 60 plus staff. They've done over 40,000 launches, and they've helped generate about 7 billion in revenue for their Amazon clients as well.
Amazing.
And then we've got co-hosting on the day with myself is Athena Severi. She'll be taking care of all the speakers and dealing, integrating with the crowd and doing feedback and stuff. She's done China Magic, and she puts on events. She comes over and she's been involved with putting events on for Sellercon and dinners and stuff. And she spoke at like the China Sourcing Summit and places like that.
Great. Yeah, I'm sure it's going to be an amazing one. And definitely listeners, hopefully some people can make it out and say hi. And yeah, I mean, I feel like we're you share amazing content. I mean, your podcast is very in-depth and technical. If people aren't already subscribed, definitely check out Danny Seller Sessions. I think it ranks really high for Amazon and keywords and iTunes and other tools. And I know you're putting a lot to build a community, not just in the UK, but globally. And I always appreciate it, what you do, and wish you the best. I'm sure it'll be a great first one and many more to come.
Hopefully, yeah. So we're excited. We've done well so far. Sold out the super early birds. We've got a handful of early birds left and 8 weeks to go, and it's all looking good.
Great. And then a little teaser, but we'll get you back out to this side of the world in Asia for our 4th annual cross-border summit, and this time in Guangzhou, and October 22nd, 23rd, and it'll be great. I mean, we'll share more as the dates. Still got quite a bit of time, but we've been preparing earlier every year, and I'm excited to have you out here too, Danny.
That'd be great. I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, thanks for your time today, and we'll let you get on with your other amazing work.
No worries. Thank you very much. Take care.
Are you looking for a cross-border payment solution in Asia? I know I was, and I'm lucky I found GoRemit.hk, an official sponsor here at Global from Asia, and I do really use them. For many years, they've helped this show pay our amazing editors and posters and content people to get the show online, and they have come through and supported us. And I'd love for you to take a look at GoRemit.hk for your payments into China, into Vietnam, into Philippines, into Thailand. I think here at Global from Asia, we see the trend of Southeast Asia coming up, and that means you're going to have either more bank accounts or bank wires or other solutions, and definitely one of them is GoRemit.hk. Check them out, free to sign up. Of course, there's a KYC account opening process, but they're a good, affordable solution for you to get money to different parts of Asia from your Hong Kong-based bank. Check them out.
Airplane. Airplane.
All right, the kids are watching the airplane. I'm just gonna do my recording by myself on the blah 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 section after the interview. Thank you, Danny, for that amazing content. I think him and I are similar. We give so much free information on the internet, and I really wish him the best with his event, Seller Sessions, June 1st in London. sellersessions.com/live, LIVE, and send him my best. Great guy. So we also logged in after the show recording, and I also have the access to this tool. I linked to it in the show notes too, so that you can also see how to log in, because I thought it was brandregistry.amazon.com, but it's a different link. So as you can imagine, Amazon is massive, so you just got to be a little bit careful that you're logging into the right system. But it gave me some insights about trends, actually some different stuff than he had seen. Maggie, hi.
Hi.
Okay. So what I got out of it was, some trends about seasonality in it, as well as just some other keywords. I'll be very honest, this tunnel doesn't have so much volume, so it didn't give me so much data, but it gave me some ideas of what could be there, and even Danny got some new ideas, because it seems different on different people's accounts, whether a US seller or a UK seller. It seems a little bit different as of now. Of course, this is changing rapidly. But just about brands in general, we've had Mayor on the show, and, we're all just talking about the value of a brand long term. And I think that's all that's valuable. Hopefully Global Asia has a good brand. Maybe it's not the most clear, because I know some people said they're not into the Amazon content that listen to the show. We do kind of do a wide range of content. We'll try to do it around e-commerce and cross-border business in Asia and China and stuff like that. But what a brand should be is what somebody thinks of when you're not in a room. That's what Jeff Bezos says. But what I'm saying is, what I would say is, really it's about people trusting what they're buying is going to be what they buy. Like in Thailand, there's tons and tons of McDonald's and KFCs, and obviously there's these no brand ones. I even try to go to no brand ones. If you want to hear a funny story, I got blocked from going to a coffee shop here just like a couple of days ago. I do my morning work, even though I'm with the family. They let me do my morning work, so I sneak to a coffee shop. I try to support the local places, so I go to I don't think they're a chain. I think it's just a random owned coffee shop, and I plugged in and I ordered a coffee, and it was like a Tuesday, and I worked from about 8 a.m. until about 11:30, left for lunch, bought 2 coffees, very crazy low price. Obviously, it was like 30 baht, which is about $1 a cup, so I had 2 cups. And then I left, and the next day I came back around 8 a.m., was putting my bag down, telling her another Americano, and she's like, okay, you can order, you can sit, but you can't use the electricity today. You can use the Wi-Fi. And I'm like, what? Why? And I guess I didn't make enough money, or she's nervous about the electricity bill from a few hours of my working there to her ROI on the $2 of coffee income. That's not my problem. I picked that was like the normal price, everything on there. So I didn't stay. I didn't buy. I said, cancel the coffee. Sorry. I need power. My laptop dies. It's an old Mac Air that lasts for like a half an hour to an hour. If I don't, I can't really get any work done if it's just plugged in for half an hour. I need a few hours to work in the morning without my kids and craziness. So anyway, I had to leave. And then where I went? I went to Starbucks. And honestly, I'm not a hater, but it's not my top choice. But that's a brand. Whether it's KFC or McDonald's or Starbucks, people know when they go inside what they're gonna get. I know I could get a power plug. I know that there was Wi-Fi. I know that there was a coffee, and I paid $3 for a coffee, and I got 2. So yeah, they made $6 off of me, and I worked from. Well, by that time it was like 8:30 a.m. because I had to leave the first coffee shop and go and find it, walk around. You know how it is. Find the outlet, connected to the Wi-Fi. Although I did hotspot, so I just needed electricity really. But anyway, what I'm saying about branding is that is branding, right? People know that they go to Starbucks, the coffee's going to be, I don't know, $2 to $5 US, and they know that this loudspeaker is so loud. But, basically that's what I mean is whether it's a product or a service or a food, you know what you're going to get when you go in. So that's why people sometimes don't want to go to a local coffee shop because they don't know if they're going to get Wi-Fi, electricity, how much the coffee's going to cost, if it's going to be good or not. But if you go to a brand, you know. So that's the real value. And I hope they didn't change my gate. But so whether you're an Amazon seller or whether you're a coffee shop owner, consistency is what it's all about. People know it's going to be a quality product. They know it's going to be the way that they like it, and they don't need to worry about it. So, just loudspeaker. Maybe it's not the best idea to do this in an airport, but as far as brands, the other thing I was reading different listings and I saw some frequently asked questions and somebody asking a specification on a certain product, and the answer from the seller was, I'll ask the manufacturer or I'll ask the brand owner. This is what their answer was, and I think they even put an email address of the factory where they're the seller, but they're not the brand, right? I don't think that's the big value to be the seller. Of course, you're making money, but I think the real value is being the brand. So the best is if you can be both. And we had Theory on a few weeks ago. He was doing the toy industry expert, and he had, working with this OEM manufacturer to build their own brands. Being the seller, you're gonna make the money whether, short term, but at the long term value is the brand. That's where. That's the hard part, of course. How do you build a brand? Obviously, that can't be done in my 10-minute blah 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 at the end of the show. But that, and the other key is you can see is Amazon's giving these tools and data only to people that have brand registry. So I have brand registry 2.0 with the Cicitano business, so I was able to get access to that. But they don't seem to really want to help or give data to not registered brands. It makes you even think about WeChat. WeChat, they let anybody join groups, but then they started have WeChat Pay connected in order to join a group of over 100 people or something like this. So I have this feeling that Amazon's going to do that with registered brands. I think the trend is to build a brand, and hopefully you don't need to do that just because of Amazon, but that is the real value. And I made huge mistakes in my first bar products business. I didn't register a product brand. I had New York Bar Store, and I registered a trademark as a retailer, as an online retailer. I didn't register. I had an LED pour spout, but it's a very niche product for one specific category of products I sold. But I think the goal you should have as a seller is to build a brand that is not just for Amazon either, but that can be used for multiple different products or categories, or at least a wide range of goods that, of course, are focused and related so that people can understand that. But it's never too late if you didn't do it. It is a bummer. Danny said, actually, that's a cool trick about the faster trademark in the UK. I did learn that one. But yeah, in the US, it takes a few months to even get one of those US trademark government officials to even look at your file. So if you file with the U.S. trademark, you'll have to wait a few months for her to even look at it, and then hopefully there's no questions or problems. But if there is, then you got to go back and deal with answering those questions from I forget the name of that person, but basically the government rep that's checking your case, your serial number, your filing. But that's the real value. But yeah, it's going to take time. First you got to get file trademark, you got to get brand registry, but they're unlocking features like videos, EBC, all these features. And now this tool that Danny and I were talking about, I think it's just going to be a growing trend for Amazon or just the world in general. And, maybe you won't have to mass produce in China or in Asia. You can do just-in-time production, and all it's going to really matter is the brand. And whether it's a product brand or a Starbucks coffee shop, people are going to buy what they know and trust because they don't got to worry about not having a power outlet when they go into a store because they know that that store will have a power outlet. That was a real bummer. I liked the lady too, but I guess she just felt like my coffee wasn't worth it. So this is just a rant about coffee shops having power outlets. They didn't even sell food. I couldn't even give her more money if I wanted to, or I guess I could pump myself up with more than 2 coffees. But or she would build a brand of having. Maybe she grows to a huge chain. People would know that that's the place to go if you don't want electricity and you just want a cheap cup of coffee. And maybe that would be their brand. At least it would be consistent, right? So you would know that logo and that name means cheap coffee with no power outlets. And maybe I'll leave it at that. I think I have a little bit more time for the flight boards. We'll look at some airplanes with my kids. Have a great day, everybody, and let's build brands and value.
To get more info about running an international business, please visit our website at www.globalfromasia.com. That's www.globalfromasia.com. Also, be sure to subscribe to our iTunes feed. Thanks for tuning in.